On the unforgiving Serengeti savanna, a lost lion cub in a deep mud pit. In a moment close to death, its desperate cries were swallowed by a terrifying silence. But then, a man appeared. On one side was wild instinct and lurking danger. On the other was human compassion. Could he cross the line of survival to save that tiny creature? Or would he become a victim of his own courage? The August sun on the Serengeti savanna was a cruel ruler. The air was thick with heat, and the yellowish grass stretched to the horizon, rippling like a dry ocean under the scorching gaze of a cloudless blue sky. Under the sparse shade of an acacia tree, the lion pride was enjoying a midday rest. The male lions lay on their sides, their golden manes dusted with what looked like gold, as they lazily yawned. The lionesses curled up, occasionally licking their sleepy cubs. Among them was a particularly restless lion cub named Leo, with round, curious eyes and a tail that wouldn't stop twitching. While the other cubs were huddled in the shade, Leo yearned to explore. He crept away, drawn by a colorful butterfly fluttering in the air. With every step Leo took, the dry grass crunched like a silent warning. Leo's adventure did not escape the cunning eyes of a lone hyena. It was gaunt, its coat mottled, and its gaze, filled with hunger, had been fixed on the pride for a long time. Realizing a prime target was wandering alone, the hyena silently emerged from a bush, a dry snarl tearing through the quiet air. Leo panicked. Instinct told him to run fast. He shot forward like an arrow, his small, clumsy legs struggling to navigate the dry grass. The hyena's snarl became an ultimate terror. Every one of its steps carried a sense of impending death. In his panic, Leo didn't watch where he was going. He stumbled clumsily, his small body hurtling forward, and suddenly fell into a deep, dark hole. The only sound left was the thick mud swallowing the thud. Leo thrashed in vain, the thick mud clinging to every strand of fur, pulling him down. His cries for help became faint, choked in his throat, reduced to pitiful, desperate whimpers, not strong enough to echo across the vast savanna. The hyena had gone, leaving Leo alone, half submerged in the mud's deadly trap, amid the eerie silence of the savanna. Not far away, Kwame, a seasoned ranger, was on patrol in his old patrol vehicle. With the window rolled down, the hot wind blew in, carrying the distinctive scent of dry earth from the Serengeti. He was accustomed to the beauty and harshness of this place. From a distance, amid the suffocating heat, a pitiful, strange sound reached his ears. It wasn't the call of an elephant, nor the roar of an adult lion, but a faint, desperate cry. At first, he thought it might be a mirage caused by the sun, but the cry came again, clearer and closer. Something inside him told him that a living creature was in trouble. Kwame immediately turned his vehicle around, following the direction of the sound. The vehicle rolled over the dry grass, kicking up a cloud of dust behind it. As he got closer, the cry became clearer, and he realized it was the cry of a lion cub. His heart sank. He knew that in a place like the Serengeti, any intervention in nature carried an immeasurable risk. The adult lion pride was fiercely protective of their young, but he couldn't just ignore it. His conscience as a wildlife protector would not allow it. He stopped the vehicle, and what he saw was a heartbreaking sight. The small lion cub Leo, half submerged in a deep mud pit, struggling in vain. Leo's frightened eyes looked straight at him, as if making a final plea. Kwame turned off the engine, taking a deep breath. He knew he had to act. There was no time to hesitate. He took off his jacket, wrapped it around his arm, and plunged into the mud pit without a moment's hesitation. The cold, thick mud immediately clung to his body, pulling him down. His hot sweat mixed with the swampy mud. Kwame tried to inch his way closer to Leo, little by little. Fear crept into his heart, but Kwame's determination overpowered everything. In that moment, he was no longer a patrolling ranger, but a lone man standing on the edge of life and death, ready to trade his safety for a small, desperate creature. The mud was as thick as cement, gripping Kwame's every move. He tried his best to get to Leo, his hand gently touching the wet fur. Leo flinched, whimpering in fear, but then felt the warmth and calmness from the man's hand. He gently soothed it, whispering words of reassurance. He reached his hand under Leo's small body, trying to lift it out of the mud. But each time he pulled, Leo cried out in fear. That cry was not just a whimper, but an instinctive plea for help, a special signal of life trying to find its way back to its family. Leo's cries echoed across the savannah, piercing through the sun-baked grass. And not far away, they reached the ears of a lioness, Leo's mother. Immediately, the mother lion raised her head, her ears perked up, and her eyes narrowed, looking toward the cry. She stood up, her muscular body trembling with alertness. A low growl, like an alarm for the whole pride, rippled through the air. The sleeping lions suddenly awoke. The once quiet field was now alive with low, rumbling growls, signaling a search. Kwame was still struggling with Leo, completely unaware that its cries were drawing the pride closer. He only felt a sudden change in the air, a terrifying silence that enveloped the space. The wind seemed to stop blowing, and instead, a new sound appeared, a sound that couldn't be mistaken. The fierce roars of the adult lions. His heart pounded, a chilling feeling running down his spine. He looked up toward the horizon, and amid the dry, yellow grass, he saw them. The enormous, majestic silhouettes were moving closer, their heavy footsteps shaking the ground. Kwame clutched Leo to his chest, an ultimate fear rising within him. Leo's cry, which was a plea for help, had now become a call of death. Half of Kwame's body was still submerged in the mud, his back aching, but he didn't dare move. His hot sweat mixed with the dry grass dust, clinging to his face. A feeling of ultimate fear consumed the moment. He held Leo tight, its small body clinging to him like a lifesaver in a rough sea. He knew that one wrong action, one careless movement, could be the end. In that moment, he no longer thought about his vehicle or the way back. He only thought about his life and Leo's in his arms. He bowed his head, trying to hold his breath, and could clearly hear his heart pounding. He was right on the line between life and death. The lion pride surrounded the mud pit, each dry grass blade under their feet trembling with their every heavy step. The circle tightened, the air becoming as tense as a drawn string. A large male lion, with the distinctive dark mane of a leader, roared, its roar echoing throughout the Serengeti, a roar of anger and protection. He stood right on the edge of the pit, his large head jutting out, his sharp eyes staring intently at Kwame. A lioness stepped forward, snarling, her eyes fixed on Leo in his arms. It was its mother. Although she was furious, there was a hint of confusion in her eyes. She didn't understand why her cub was in the arms of a human. The male lion was still standing on the edge of the pit, another low growl rumbling like a final threat. In the mud, under the gaze of the lion pride, Kwame knew he couldn't stay like this forever. He couldn't run. He couldn't fight. He could only wait and trust. Time seemed to stand still. In the stifling silence, Kwame gathered all his courage, taking a deep breath. He knew that fear would not solve the problem. He was not a predator. He was a protector. Kwame gently, slowly lifted Leo up. This time, it didn't cry out. It just looked at him, as if in absolute trust. He placed Leo on the bank, right in front of the lioness. He then quickly climbed out of the mud pit, his body muddy but his heart full of hope. That strange sight silenced the entire lion pride. They stood still, their golden brown eyes fixed on the man's actions. The lioness stepped forward without a snarl. She lowered her head, gently took Leo into her mouth, and turned to walk toward the pride. The lion cub was back with its mother, safe in the arms of its family. The lion pride did not attack. There was no aggressive action from any of them. They just stood and watched, like a silent acceptance amid the golden savannah. Perhaps they had realized that this man was not an enemy, but a savior. Before retreating into the dry grass, the lioness looked back at Kwame, her eyes holding his for a long time. It was a profound look, not of a wild beast, but the look of a mother. That look was like a silent thank you, a grateful acknowledgement in the scorching sun of the Serengeti. Kwame, still covered in mud, watched the figures of the lion pride disappear into the evening twilight. An immense sense of relief washed over him, mixed with pride. He had done it. He had risked his life for a small creature and, in return, received the trust of one of the most fearsome animals. This story is not just about survival, but also about the magical connection between humans and nature, a relationship that needs no words, only a heart. The story of Kwame and the lion cub Leo is not just a story of a rescue, but a powerful reminder of the strength of compassion. In the harsh world of nature, a single act of courage created an invisible bridge between man and animal, proving that understanding and trust can exist beyond all boundaries. If this story has touched your heart, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss other emotional and meaningful stories from the wild. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think made the lion pride trust the ranger? See you in the next adventure.